Hello everyone, welcome back again to Spiritual Growth Tarot and Astrology. I'm Denise and I'm here to swap out cameras, bring you over to my table and deliver your astrological transits for this week. We're going to be going from May 7th to the 13th. Some good things are happening. Venus is moving into Cancer and quite a few other really nice aspects I noticed in the charts. There's a kite formation. We still have the aspect of the architect going on. But anyway, let me just show you. I can talk till the cows come home, but unless you see it, it won't mean much. Anyway, be right back. Okay, so first of all, I wanted to give you some dates of the longer transits that are the transpersonal planets that are affecting us all, so that you can take advantage of them, or advantage of this time. So Neptune sextiling Pluto will last, as you can see up here, all the way through to October 22nd. And that brings in opportunities to work spiritually to bring in more personal power. More in Aquarius, it'll be individuation, more of honoring the uniqueness of who you are outside of anyone else. And to remember, Neptune, of course, is source energy and spiritual law. Pluto will work through all the things that need to be eliminated to keep you from being in alignment with your higher self, which is already in alignment with spiritual law, spiritual principles. So some of those are comparing yourselves to anyone else. Every time we do that, we violate spiritual law. Being in a compulsion to have to, gotta do, gotta just hopping around constantly like a chicken with your head cut off. That will bite you in the butt later on. So just to check yourself, as you're moving through your life. And we all have those moments where we feel that way. And sometimes it's a good thing because you could be protecting a little kid or an older person and that being on edge. But if you're living like that, 12, 16 hours a day, day in, day out, it causes so much stress on our nervous system and our entire, our entire body and being, because our spiritual essence isn't coming through enough to nourish us. We have a real need for meditation, self-reflection, as adults anyway. Meditation, self-reflection, soul-searching, downtime, silence. And if we're not honoring that, we're not going to be able to move forward in the direction that we want to go. So this aspect of the architect here, with Neptune at this, handle point, flowing down into Mars, which brings in what we're moving towards, what we want, which is more security, more heightened intuition, more growth in our lives. And so this aspect of the architect is going on here through May 25th. Or I'm sorry, the Neptune trying to, this aspect right here. This one, let me rewind. The aspect of the architect lasts through May 23rd. So that would be this whole configuration here. But Neptune still trines Mars all the way through to May 25th. So we have a few extra days afterwards to integrate, of course, as always. Now, this opposition that you can see here, and of course, we have to remember this backdrop constantly that's here with Pluto squaring the nodes all the way through to December 7th. That's not backing off. Now, Pluto squaring the nodes, again, is helping you get into your personal power. This is also the aspect that is going to be bringing through the awareness of the corruption in, like SCOTUS is one. Look what's happening to Clarence Thomas. It's like more and more just keeps coming out every day. That's going to continue. for quite some time. I would say all the way through to at least December 7th, if not further. And that's because Pluto can represent corruption, the misuse of power. So Pluto in Aquarius, of course, would at some point when we're fully into, which won't be until November 2024, before we're fully into Pluto in Aquarius, and then it's about more power to the people. But for this time being, up until then, we're it's retrograding back into Capricorn, and we're dealing with some of the the corruption was always there. There's just new players, new people, and it was hidden. Well, now with Pluto having its sojourn going through Capricorn, and now moving into Aquarius, there's more that will be revealed, but it was always there. It's not that things are getting worse, it's that we're now able to see them. That's really important to remember. The corruption has been there, right? Especially in the USA, you can imagine, we were founded on slavery and so much mass corruption. Yeah, we broke away from taxation without representation, started our own gig here, but still, that doesn't mean we didn't take our darkness with you or with us. It's like you can go traveling and you still take your stuff with you. That's the other thing when it comes to reincarnation. I really feel like a lot of these corrupt people that are just crazy are reincarnated slave masters and their ilk. And so, we have to stay in our love and hold space for what we're going through, but also be in our courage and, call them out. And we don't let this happen. We need to vote them out. Things need to change. And that's Pluto will be changed. We're all going there kicking and screaming, maybe getting bloody along the way, or we're going to go smoothly and say, no, the buck stops here. We are not going to allow this anymore. So there are so many things on the table that way politically when it comes to immigration and border issues. This is Saturn and Neptune in Pisces. Those are immigration issues. But there's work, there's opportunity, and contact. Work points or work content, opportunity, and work contacts between these planets, so that we can move forward. And the energy will go there. I mean, we have to deal with this somehow. And there are things happening. I keep seeing things that are getting a little bit better, but it always gets to the worst before it. It's just one of those things. It's like a fever. You get to the fever point, fever pitch, and then it breaks, and then things get better. So, yeah. Now, let's see. With Pluto squaring all three of these points here, the North Node, that's staying in there. But today only brings in, all three of these points here. Jupiter will still remain for some time, because you can see the orb here, and the nodes go backwards, so the node's tightening up even more with that square. So anyway, today only we have an intense amount of courage coming through, an intense amount of awareness, and an intense amount of needing to break through from the past. This Jupiter opposition here to the South Node. So Jupiter wants to expand and move forward. And in Aries, it's all about asserting ourselves and our individuality. And being careful to not leave other people out. Being careful to not need to win, right? Like, how about win-win situations? Well, politically, we're seeing the darkness around that. And it's going to connect. So Jupiter's going to expand and show us some of the corruption, even more of the corruption from the past, right? Because Scorpio would be money and other people's resources and how they've given to you in the past, things like that. So, think in terms of Clarence Thomas, everything he's done in the past, there's going to be this light brought forward. And we are going to be learning. Jupiter tends to teach us things. So that's very interesting. And you can see I have a little note here that this exact opposition it'll happen. It's in orb from now all the way through to June 23rd, but on June 3rd it's exact, and there might be something that that comes up, or a lot that comes up between now and June 3rd, and then maybe after the 3rd we are, so pretty much a month from now, maybe we have some ethics, a new ethics committee for SCOTUS. Wouldn't that be nice? Yeah. So, okay, and then, so this is the overlay for the week and beyond. Now, I'll talk a little bit, this is just starting off because Venus is also going to move into Cancer, and I have a chart for that right underneath this one. So I'll get into the others, but a nice aspect that I'm seeing here for today only is Jupiter sextiling Venus, right? So here's Venus here, and then see the sextile up here to Jupiter. That is, and I'm sure we had it a couple days before, but it ends after today, and that brings in that ability to we have opportunities to heal, opportunities to get things straight with our finances and within our relationships. Venus rules those things. And I'll talk about the grand water trine. I'm sure you can see back here, and we are going to have a kite configuration later on too. So I'll talk about that. But this aspect of the architect here is in very tight orb until May 25th, like you can see here. But then after May 25th, Venus will also be involved, because by then Venus will be in here. Or I'm sorry, not the 25th, after the 29th. So at the end of the month, we can look forward to having Venus involved over here, which is very nice. Now, of course, Mars will have moved forward as well, so it won't be tight. But anyway, now to the moon for today. In Sag, this brings in intuition, brings in moving forward, brings in a lot of energy to get you going in the right direction. Could be a good day for traveling, and especially with this nice trine over to Chiron. And notice that Chiron's not involved. See how we have the square up here to Pluto? Chiron's not involved anymore in that. And there's only one, let's see, we have Chiron squaring Mars, but it's not, it's a separating aspect there, so it's not so bad. But anyway, Chiron can represent our deepest wounding, but then when you work through the wounding, it's your greatest gifts. So if you're moving forward in those win-win situations and you're initiating something new in your life, and blazing your own trail is the way I always like to say it, asserting yourself in a good, healthy way, you have a lot of energy for that. Now, Mars is, like I said, in that separation aspect, so we've been working with this for quite some time, and now it's a good time for integration. So, okay, so let me go ahead and move forward. Oh, no, wait, hold on. I have to talk to this for a moment. I'm not going to mess around with this sesquisquare because it's going to move so quick. But the moon squaring, first thing this morning, moon square Saturn, it'll be gone within an hour or so. But because you cannot see, it's 9 to 5 degrees there, it's already out of orb, moving out of orb. But if you get up really early Sunday morning, there might be a little bit of a challenge just for a while, because you might want to get some things done, but then there might be guidance that comes through from dream time that you're integrating as well. And that's very possible too, because with Saturn, with the double sextile here to Mercury, or I'm sorry, the North Node and Mercury, and you can see that there, I didn't color it in, but there's that aspect of the architect going on here as well. And that's lasting for some time. With Saturn up at the, now it's moving away from the nodes, but Saturn at the, the apex point, the bucket point here, is it's our spiritual foundation at the best, and at the worst, it is victim consciousness and victimizing and blaming, which, I talked a lot about that last week and the week before, and you guys know my take on that. It's like anytime we're blaming anything outside of ourselves, we are literally giving ourselves away, giving our power away to something else. We're not taking self-responsibility. So, okay, let me go ahead and move forward. To keep an eye on my battery. I might have to change it, but anyway. So we're still on Sunday, but 7:25 in the morning, Venus is now in Cancer. So all of us Cancer babies get some extra love. We are maybe attracting support, maybe having family time. Cancer rules everything to do with a home and security, and the roots are family, protecting ourselves. We're like the Girl Scout and Boy Scouts of the zodiac, and moms and dads and all of that, that type of energy. So this is really good with this grand water trine here, and it lasts through May 16th. This is a really good time for getting things straight within the home, getting things straight within the family, working on things around the home. And because it connects to Saturn, again, we're talking foundations, could be a dream home that you're building, and something you've been working on for a long time, and you have the wisdom of the past to guide you, and you know how to do it. It could be something brand new that you've always wanted and you've been dreaming about and working on spiritually for a long time, and something finally breaks through between now and May 16th. So it's 11 days or so, right? Yeah. Now Venus stays in Cancer until June 5th. So if anything shifts there, or nothing will shift into Leo until after June 5th. Yeah. So let's see. And then you can see that Jupiter sextile Venus is still here, which is also really nice. That brings in more opportunity. So we have a beautiful flow, and then also opportunity to expand. And it could be some new expansion, but it also could be something you've been working on for a really long time. Could be new opportunities that come in, but it should mirror all of the work that you've been doing in the past. So let me go ahead. I'm not going to talk to those weaker aspects. I just want to move forward. You can see that the moon's still in Sag. It still squares Saturn, because, we're only talking an hour later. But now let's go ahead and move on to Monday. And Monday brings in, you can see that we're now fully in, because we still have the grand trine going on, but now we have a kite configuration that's right in there with the North Node and Mercury. So we can expect, and the kite aspect lasts all the way through Friday. We can expect with this news coming out about things in the government and money issues, with the Taurus to Scorpio polarity. And remember, the oppositions are still going on for quite some time. So let me speak to the kite configuration. And suffice to say that everything I spoke to, unless I indicated that it was for today only, which would have been yesterday, that those forces are still, in flow in the cosmos, holding space for us. So, but today I want to focus in on the moon up here in Sag, in that ripe degree of Sag. And so it feels like a day full of intuition. Now, you might have a little bit of a opposition, confrontation, starting off first thing in the morning about what you want, trying to figure out what you want so then you can get clear. And maybe it's what you want as well as people in your family that you're dealing with, right? And once you get that figured out, then there'll be a breakthrough. But there's a trying to figure those things out. And when the moon moves into Capricorn, then there could be a little more confrontation. I feel like it has to do with travel. I feel like it has to do with all things that bring out the issues about freedom. And you're going to be speaking up, or other people are going to be speaking up, and you're going to be talking about, well, do we really want to do that? If we did that, what would that bring? What could that bring into our lives? Or if I did this, what would the outcome be? And, those are real considerations for us personally. Now, on the political front, we're talking religious dogma possibly coming up, patriotic bullshit coming up, and people saying, no, this is the way, that type of thing. And no. For you personally, you listen to yourself only, of course. But I think we're going to be seeing some wild and crazy crap that comes through this week. And the moon is going to be, setting it off, and it's over the next couple of days, it's going to heighten. And then, like I said, moon's going to hit Pluto later. I'll show you that when we get to those charts. So this week is, it's good for us working spiritually. It's lousy if you're a corrupt politician or corruption on any level has been going on. People like that are going to be meeting some, harsh lessons. Because, it's set up that way, and it's been working that way for quite some time. But now it's like lesson times are more intense. It's been building. The tension has been building, and things are about to break through. And the reason I can say that is I looked a little bit forward into the next week, and here I'll show you real quick. See right here. So this is May 16th. We have a grand cross. That Pluto in the T-square to the nodes, and also involving Jupiter. Also, by the 16th, will involve the moon. And then see Mars down there at the bottom at the other side, and see the big cross configuration, right? This makes for some intense times, and we are building up to that. So, hold on to your hat when it comes to the news. I wouldn't say don't watch the news, because there's going to be things coming out and you're going to need to stay informed, but I also wouldn't say to, sit with it for too long or listen to it all day, or my goodness, never. And, if you're like me, you can get a lot of it by print. You just check your subscriptions and check your emails, things like that. So, but anyway, for Monday, I did want to focus in on this kite aspect. And with we've got the grand water trine, you can count on being there for some time. But then with this kite, lasting through to Friday, it brings in Mercury, so the news, communication. Mercury's retrograde. Now, it's only going to retrograde back to 5, almost 6 degrees, Taurus, and then it'll station before it goes direct. So that can be an intense time, And I think when does it go? It goes direct on the 15th, yeah. So all week. We've got this going on all week. So there can be an intense amount of issues coming out on the news. I hate to say it, but I would expect even more gun accidents, things like that. Not accidents, what am I saying? It's not an accident when you shoot someone on purpose. But these crazy things, and it needs to stop. We definitely need new laws. I saw, who was it that interviewed Jay Inslee from Washington State? Oh, I can't remember if it was, I can't remember. It's definitely on MSNBC, but I'm listening to this guy. He's not going to be governor. He's not going to run for governor again, but he was listing all the accomplishments that he's created. Washington State sounds like a very, very, very safe place to live. And I'm listening to this guy, and I'm like, oh, dude, will you run for president someday? I mean, he just managed to get things so under control. I hope that the next person that comes in keeps things that way. But he has set things up so that women are safer with their health care choices. Gun control is definitely there in Washington State. And he's doing his best to address the homelessness and everything else he could. So anyway, let's go ahead and move on. For today, with the moon, with this triple trine here to Chiron, Eris, and Jupiter, we have a nice flow of energy to move forward, and we have the courage to move forward, and we also have our we have the flow from our deeper gifts coming through. And so there's a lot of directional focus. It's just, getting in touch with what you really want and then having the courage to go there. And we do have some challenges, though, with Mars squaring Jupiter. Or, I'm sorry, Mars is squaring Eris. No, Jupiter and Eris. That's right, 28, 23, yeah. And this is an approaching aspect, so from Mars to Jupiter. So this will show us that all the healing work we've done in the past will help us as we're moving forward. And so it's going to get more intense, but this square and these two squares will actually teach you that being in a tension field of growth can actually turn into a great strength. So you can look forward to that. And Mars opposing Pluto, again, is, what do you want? How much work are you willing to do for it? And, of course, it can be gentle work. No one needs to, work to their fingers to the bone anymore. I mean, yeah. We do have unions nowadays, right? It was awful in the past. But things are better. Now, the writer's strike is probably showing up right here with Mercury to the north node, to south node. They can stop everything because without things written and without the editors, there's movie industry, news, everything is not going to be working well, if at all. So they have to get that going, get that together. But you can see that the kite configuration here going back to... So when I see a kite, I always think of what's flying the tail, because without the tail, the kite just hits the ground. And it's because it's going back to the south node. This goes back to where are our resources, and are our resources solid and stable? Scorpio wants to be in control, so it has something to trust. And so if people aren't trustworthy, we're not going to like to be there in that, because it creates crisis, right? And Scorpios are very tuned into knowing whether or not they're safe. In fact, the whole Taurus Scorpio axis is designed to get us stable and safe. And, Cancer helps too, right? But Cancer's more focused in on the details of taking care and nurturing. Scorpio kind of sits there at a pivot point and goes, well, wait, I've been there. And I understand that, and and then Pisces is over here going, yeah, we can learn those lessons again and start it over if we need to. But Scorpio is very adept in understanding where we've been and what we'll get if we stay there, So it all works together, but bringing in the opposition from Scorpio to Taurus, again, there's that safety and stability and security and self-preservation that always needs to be honored. Otherwise, we can't use our Cancer consciousness and grow. There's no growth without stability first. So anyway, let's move on. Let's see. So I feel like I'm good there with the kite configuration. Just for today, we've got, and I know we had it yesterday, but this Pluto quincunx, the 150-degree aspect to Venus, again, it's what is it that you're wanting, and what adjustments do you need to make within power structures in your life that brings you into the person that is in control and in power in your life. Same thing with Mars to the Moon. Adjustments as to what you're feeling, and especially between this quincunx here. Really trust your intuition, really trust your guidance, whatever methods you use to get your guidance, really trust yourself. And again, and this is just, for today only. And actually probably only for a few hours because the moon will move out of orb pretty quickly. From 23 to 20, yeah, it's exact right there. Actually, it was exact earlier, 23:47. So yeah, first thing this morning, I would say trust yourself, trust your intuition, and make your adjustments accordingly based on the guidance that you get, and then things will fall into place as you move, as the moon moves forward throughout the day. And then the other really important thing, because the moon trining, Jupiter, that'll help with the growth, help you get going in that, or actually stay on your path. With Jupiter in Aries, you've been going there already. But the other important thing is, notice how close the sun is and how quickly it will hit Uranus. And that could bring in a big opening and a big breakthrough. And if not, it'll at least be, well, that's still a breakthrough anyway, but if it's not like a physical, like, oh, I'm free, right? Because we want freedom so that we can grow here. And with this conjunction going on, with this joining up of the forces of Taurus, if it's not an actual physical, and I say physical because Taurus is earthly, things of the earth, it'll at least be an aha awareness moment. Now, if you're fortunate enough to get massage or body work or energy work or whatever, it could happen on the table with this configuration here. Okay, so let's move on to Tuesday. Now you can see Tuesday morning, or no, actually 12:55 p.m., so just almost 1 p.m. Pacific, we do have the Sun and Uranus exactly conjunct. And it is trining the moon right up here. And the moon, the moon's at 12. It will be an exact trine when it hits 18 degrees. But this buildup, and it's been happening all morning too. It actually was happening from yesterday. This exact, the possibility for aha moments, breaking through, breaking free. The sun shining a light, it could shine a light on something very shocking politically. Something could come through and it's like, oh, didn't see that coming. Or maybe we did, and it's finally, like, maybe this is finally Jack Smith coming down on Trump, right? There's that possibility. Yeah, definitely. And with the moon square Chiron, anyone who's been acting selfishly. So the moon's an illuminary. The sun is, of course, the sun. We're talking illuminaries here. So there's a lot of action to illuminate whatever's going on in the world. And with Aries, it can be somebody who's been very impulsive, with this square here. So if something comes out on the news, it can be something that somebody impulsively said and gave themselves away. Gee, I wonder who that might be. Oh, wait, hold on. I have him right here. In the trash can where he belongs, in the dumpster. Okay, so what else for today with the moon? I think that's it until, because it's cooking its way towards Pluto. So, but use the energy for us, individually, we can use the energy wisely by working on, because Capricorn is all about work. It's all about physical work and our duties and the way we take self-responsibility, and because maybe we have quality control going on, paying attention to the details and actually doing the work to get things right. Now, if you're a corrupt politician, they just want other people to do it, and they want to just climb over them, and you don't matter to them at all. So if there's a challenge going on there, stand up for yourself today. If anything, like that is happening, it could be the aha awareness shock that goes, oh, hell no, right? And then we have to remember that this aspect of the architect is going on here from Venus, because again, Venus is going to want to unify all things in your life so that you're safe and secure, and your family is safe and secure. And that is the direction that we're all headed in. See how Venus is at 2 degrees. The North Node, which is heading backwards, will be at 2 degrees at some point, but we're going to have an exact sextile here, which brings in the opportunity and the flow from the wisdom of the past. So like I've been saying, if things haven't been working out and you've been watching, somebody act like a duck, talk like a duck, quack like a duck, walk like, all of that. It's a duck. Right? Okay, so Wednesday, the moon will hit Pluto at 7 p.m., so we're building up that energy, and that opposition to Mars that we've been working with, the moon will connect with that as well. And we already have a double opposition going on to Mars. So Mars is at this focal point asking you, what do you want? What motivates you? Where do you want to go? What do you want to grow in your life? And that kite configuration is teaching us that we have the wisdom of the past to guide us. And the sun is still, connected tight enough to Uranus that there are, and it's also trining the moon. The moon is in a double trine. So everything I spoke to about Tuesday is also applying very strongly to Wednesday, and there very well may be some breakthrough. There could be power control issues there's confrontation there, very well maybe emotional confrontation, like you want to go one way and your loved one or partner or friend wants to go the other way, and you make a decision. And maybe that's just fine, could be something silly like, oh no, let's go to this store to go shopping, or let's don't go shopping today, or whatever, things like that. But there, eventually there'll be a breakthrough, and somebody will have won. Does it have to be a real fight? Probably not. Yeah. So anyway, that's all I'm seeing for. It's actually a lot, but there could be some awareness as to power dynamics There could be some awareness as to better workflow situations with Uranus and the Sun trining up to the Moon. And then by the evening, there will be, I'm thinking, some confrontation and some decisions to make. Okay, so let's go ahead and go to Thursday. Thursday, of course, you can see we still have the kite configuration there. Sun Uranus is still connected. The Moon is now on the other side. And remember, too, as the Moon was here and connecting up to Pluto, it was bringing in more intensity to any control and power issues. It was triggering, of course, this T-square to the nodes. And Mercury's involved. So there's no not talking about it anymore. There's no, leading up. So I'll say Tuesday through Thursday. Thursday may be integration day. But Tuesday and Wednesday, definitely. There's no more shoving anything under the rug, ignoring the elephant in the room. There's no more letting go of going after what you want. There could be letting go of some relationships or the ways that you went after things that you want, but you're not going to be letting go of what you want. There's tenacity and perspicacity here with Mars in Cancer. Venus is now in Cancer as well. Now, it'll be later on in the month where Mars enters Leo, but Venus is still, she'll, at some point there'll be a connection. But there's a lot going on before that, so let's don't go there. Let's see, what else? I think that's it. Let's go ahead and move forward to Friday. And Friday we have the Moon squaring the Sun and Uranus. So the Aquarius Moon can bring in some more freedom and some unique ideas. I should have spoken to that. I'm sorry. With the Moon conjunct Pluto, all the hours leading up to this, there would be a breaking free of control issues. Because Aquarius, above all, has everything to do with freedom, honoring our uniqueness, having some new original ideas. It's the sign, and Uranus rules Aquarius is the planet, and Uranus is all about innovation, invention. And I'm feeling like with this square, with the Moon square Uranus, there has been, like I said, the tension field building up in terms of power issues and what is it that we want and who's going with us, that type of thing, or who are we going with. And then with the Moon separating away from Pluto, we've understood what those things are. And now we're working towards freeing ourselves up. Just think liberation with this square here. What do we want to free ourselves from? And I think that's mostly what Friday is all about. There might be a little bit of stubbornness coming in here, but it might be a good stubbornness, because how else do you get what you want unless you hold on? Now, politically, especially with the debt ceiling, ridiculous. It's like, we have to pay our bills. You can't not pay our bills. This is all here. This is that Pluto squaring the nodes. But of course, it's more the Sun conjunct Uranus, because Taurus is all about money. Mercury brings in the messages of, well, it could be news, but it could also be communication talking about the money, right? And the last I heard on it, Biden was open to working a different way, as long as it didn't, involve, he's not going to back down when it comes to not paying our bills. But so we might have a little more time rather than that. What was it, a June 5th deadline? I can't remember, but Anyway, you can see, I mean, probably this whole entire week is a big, yeah, it actually is. It is a big power issue. So a lot of those power struggles I was talking about, I think, have to do with the debt ceiling. So let's see. But for us personally, I think it's a really good week. I'm not worried about it at all. Let's see what Saturday. Oh yeah, Saturday. I just wanted to reiterate. Pluto's still in that T-square to the nodes. Mercury opposing the South node, and has been as well. Again, this is that debt ceiling crisis, and also the news coming out revealing the corrupt, ways that, I guess that's what corruption is, right? The ways that corrupt politicians and judges, and we're talking Clarence Thomas, and he's not the only one. There's John Roberts and his wife, and there's Amy Coney Barrett, and where she got a bunch of cash, and there's Kavanaugh. I'm gonna get it's Jenny Thomas, Clarence and Jenny. So more all week long coming out about that, and it involves money, of course. We have gun control issues here. We have the debt ceiling here. And now for Saturday with the moon already close, so close to Saturn. Over the weekend it will be exact, of course, into Sunday. And that brings in more of a dreamy end to the week. But, I would normally say when the moon conjuncts Saturn, it can be more serious, emotionally serious. But with Pisces, it can also be very dreamy. It could also be a resolution or something that comes through full circle. I hope it is with the writer's strike. I hope maybe this means that it's complete, because sometimes when we get to Pisces, things come full circle. But, we're definitely in the realm of film, media, all types of media, all types of film, movies, any type of publishing like that, in the realm of Pisces. So, yeah, and then them wanting more money in the past, and then all the talks, it's all right here. Yeah. Let's see, what else? Aspect of the architect. Yeah, just to reiterate, all those things are still, going on for the entire week. And we can see we still have, I didn't color it in, but we still have the kite going on. It's just changed a little to where, well, no, not really. It's still, I should have drawn it in. It's definitely still there. I thought it just went through to Friday, but it's still here. From Mercury to Venus. 5-6 degrees, yeah. And I go with a little, I'm more generous with the orbs. So the kite configuration is in force all week long. And again, who's flying the kite? Who's in control of the money? Who's in control of the resources in your life? Those are questions that we're going to be asking personally and politically as well. So you can see, this configuration here definitely pulls in that debt ceiling crisis. But on another level, with the moon conjunct Saturn, so remember, Saturn has everything to do with delays, but things that also bring in structure and foundation too. And Saturn, to me, is a teacher. Saturn is, wherever it is in your natal chart, it's where you are mastering something in your life, right? So it's never anything to be afraid of, and it's never anything to get down about. But if let's imagine you're someone like Trump, who's just been blaming and grifting off of people, you might have a hard lesson, and it might be emotionally a little bit of an emotional downer when you have the moon conjunct Saturn. So I'm not going to say it's going to be good for everyone, but if you're working spiritually and you love music and movies and art, this could be a really, really good weekend. I'm not going to say it's good for immigration or border control issues or things going on at the border. There could be a little bit of a crisis because of this connection here. You know, crisis being Scorpio and immigration being Pisces. But there's talk about it, and there's movement towards that with this tight orb of aspect of the architect going on there. Yeah. So, okay, well, I feel complete. You guys have a wonderful, wonderful week, and sending out big hugs as always. Bye.